it was not in the interest of the US to have the Japanese moving deeply into China either. So it was in the interest to have a balance. But that balance did not last very long. Because when the Japanese moved into mainland China, then it was the Americans who forced the Japanese into the Second World War by the oil embargo.
Anyway, I think if I'm not mistaken, Mao Zedong sort of anticipated in one of his early writings is that the time will come when China and America will fight Japan. He said in one of his, and I cited in one of my lessons. George, let me begin by thanking you very much for agreeing to speak to the students on the course of US-China relations, past, present, and future. I have no doubt that your insights will add a lot to the course. So what we'll do in today's discussion is discuss the lessons that the students studied in week 1, especially about the historical dimensions of the US-China relationship. And I'm going to begin by asking you some questions about the century of humiliation that China suffered, because I believe it had some impact on Chinese attitudes to the world. It said that for centuries, China, with its great civilization and navies, always had the upper hand vis-a-vis Japan. What's interesting is that when Japan woke up to the Western challenge in the Meiji Restoration and reformed itself and became stronger, China didn't seem to pay attention to what Japan was doing, and then, of course, was humiliated by Japan in the 1895 Sino-Japanese War. Looking back at that time, why didn't you think the Chinese paid any attention to what, like someone like Japan, when Japan was transforming itself? Did the Chinese say, "Hey, we should also transform ourselves"? Was that kind of movement budding in China in the 19th century?
Before that period, back to the mist of time, Japan did not play a major role in the evolution of Chinese history and civilization, much less than Korea did. So it's perhaps not surprising that China never saw Japan as being particularly consequential. If there were descriptions about Japan, it was that they are an unusually clean people, which was something mentioned in the history of the Northern Way. This like 4th century, 5th century. Or maybe before that, maybe 3rd century. I'm not so sure of my dates now. Then the Japanese were raided the China coast, and they were fearsome, Japanese pirates. Of course, Kublai Khan tried to invade Japan, but got defeated by typhoons, and that's how the kamikaze became such an important term in the Japanese psyche. But then Kublai Khan moved in all directions, including Java and Indochina and so on. But I would say in Chinese history, Japan wasn't that important. And Japan went in, but the way Japan saw China and the importance of its decline, now that is an important part of the story.
She told you about the Opium War.
Oh, I think all Chinese know about the Opium War. And it was a period of national humiliation. But what was particularly galling was what happened in Versailles. Because China had sent I think 150,000 Chinese citizens to help the Europeans, the Allied powers, in the effort against Germany, with the promise that once the war ended and Germany was defeated, German possessions in China will revert back to China. So at Versailles, the Japanese said, "No, we want those territories." And they agreed. So China was badly dealt.
And the interesting question is how do Chinese historians view the role of the US in this century? Because until the Boxer Rebellion in 1899 to 1901, I think the American troops didn't fight in China before that. And in fact, the US, but at the same time, US insisted on most favored nation treatment and joined the settlements in Shanghai after they were established. But the US also donated some of the reparations received from the Boxer Rebellion to funding scholars in China to be educated by American universities. Also, I think this also led to the founding of the Tsinghua University, if I remember correctly. So how do
many hospitals and education establishments were established by the Americans.
How do the Chinese view the American role in this century of emulation?
Well, Japan did not. I'm sorry. The U.S. did not see itself as a European colonial imperialistic power. It saw itself as, in terms of its manifest destiny, as a superior power which had a civilizing mission. So, of course, when the European powers took advantages for themselves, they demanded their share. And don't forget, in 1854, Commodore Perry forced open Japan. They would have done the same to China. But since the Europeans had already opened all the gates, there was no need for them to move.
So, in a sense, they were free riders.
They were free riders. That's how MFN, the term, became in popular use.
Yes.
That there's no need for us to fight the same battles to get the same advantages.
Yes.
You just agree to give it to all the rest of us. Most favored nation, which is a strange term, not easily self-explanatory. But that's when it gained currency, China. Then they saw the powers in contention. And Theodore Roosevelt received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1906.
Yes.
And I always remember in the ante room, before we entered the Oval Office, out there, the certificate with the medal of the Nobel Prize being given to Theodore Roosevelt.
Yes.
It was the settlement between Russia and Japan. Russia and Japan fought a very bloody war.
Yes.
Russian fleet was sunk in 1905.
That's right.
Which led in the end to the Bolshevik Revolution. And on Liaotong Peninsula, so many graves to Russians and Japanese who fought there. The Americans decided better to have peace and a balance. It was not in American interest to have the Tsar come down Manchuria into Korea. It was not in the interest of the US to have the Japanese moving deeply into China either. So it was in the interest to have a balance. But that balance did not last very long. Because when the Japanese moved into mainland China, then it was the Americans who forced the Japanese into the Second World War by the oil embargo.
Anyway, I think if I'm not mistaken, Mao Zedong sort of anticipated in one of his early writings is that the time will come when China and America will fight Japan. He said in one of his, and I cited in one of my lessons. But so overall, before closing, if you just had to sort of summarize the attitudes of China towards Americans at the early part of this century, how would you characterize it? Early part of the 20th century.
So the Americans were the least predatory of the Western powers. And because they had a guilty conscience and donated some of the indemnities back to establish educational and health institutions, the Chinese have a different view of them. So till today, St. John's University, for example, is spoke of in warm terms. I think it's been absorbed into Futan or Jiaotong, I can't remember now. And you had a group of Americans like Henry Luce. Many of them were associated with missionary families. They had good intentions for China. They want China to be Christianized, to be like America. And when Japan invaded China in 1937, before First World War, the Americans helped China. So they had the Flying Tigers, you had the supply lines being opened, all kinds of things being done to help China fight Japan. And if you go to Chongqing today or to Kunming, many of the American establishments during that period are preserved as museums in order that that period not be forgotten. So Mao Zedong had a very tentative view of the Americans. He had a bad experience with, I think, Ambassador Patrick Hurley. He wrote a piece about Farewell Ambassador Hurley or something, which is quite famous. Then they succeeded in 1949. And the Americans would have allowed China to capture Taiwan. But then the Korean War supervened.